Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. My name is Maria. I've studied law and I've moved to Spain from Ukraine 8 years ago. And I've been studying Spanish law due to my visa, residence, work contract, etc. But today I would like to talk mainly about marriage and civil union. In Spanish is pareja de hecho. So basically, these two terms and two processes that are quite different from each other, that have different conditions and different outcomes. I've decided to choose this topic as I was also married myself. And why did I choose marriage to civil partnership? I will explain later on. So basically, marriage and civil partnership are two legal statuses that regulates your relationship in Spain in the eyes of Spanish government. So, in this sense, there is many similarities among both options, but what is better for you will depend on each particular case and interests of obviously both members. That's why it's important to analyze aspects, and so each of you understands which type of legal relationship actually entails for you. So civil union and marriage or civil partnership are both regulated by the family law in Spain, and both options will help you to be better protected in many situations, like having children with your partner. I would like to talk about marriage. Due to the Spanish law, to get married and receive residence afterwards, you have to be physically been in Spain, get married in Spain, and afterwards you can receive the residence depending on where your partner comes from. So if it's a Spanish partner and you got married in 2 years, you then can apply for the citizenship. But as soon as you get married, all the rights as all the citizens belong to you as well. As well as civil partnership, however, is done much easier. It's only important to be registered for more than 6 months in the same flat and prove that you have real relationship. In Barcelona, there is many cases when obviously it's not the case. People do civil partnership or pareja de hecho in a way of getting this residence, which is the residence for 5 years on behalf of the person. This person should be, your partner should belong to the EU member state or to Spain. From my personal experience, when I was marrying a British citizen, I wouldn't get the right to nationality. However, I would still have the right to receive that residence card for 5 years that I'm having right now. My personal feedback, why did I get married, not a civil partnership? Because I lived in Balearic Islands. I lived in Mallorca, and each region, due to Spanish legislation, has the right to focus and to establish their own regulations. So in Mallorca, in Balearic Islands, the regulation was of the region that one of the partners should be from Balearic Islands in order to have civil partnership. This is why we decided to get married. And as both of us coming from different countries, we had to provide several documents, such as history of our registration. We were not registered, but we had to prove that the last 2 years we were living in Spain, and was the reason why we wanted to get married in Spain, that we were living before. We had to provide certificate that we are single. So literally in many countries, in the embassy, you can request such certificate when you want to get married abroad. Everything should be translated. You also had to provide your current residence conditions, etc. Obviously, many people can get married even being illegal here. I was a student and I had a student visa. Yeah, you can also choose where you want to get married, in town hall, in a special register, in the court, etc., or through private notarius, which is more expensive. All the documents should be notarially approved, also it takes some time, so consider around minimum 6 months of the whole process. However, for marriage, you don't have to prove that you are a partner for a long time. This is a benefit, but marriage is something more official, long term, and when partners can apply for each other's properties, ownings. However, to civil partnership, it's pareja de hecho. It's similar to marriage, but it's quite easier to get. But each region defines its own regulations and requirements in order for couple to apply for them. So in Catalonia, it's quite easy because normally what's only the document that is required is registration document from a town hall that both of you have lived together for minimum 3 months, and obviously your passport, NIE, etc. You go to a register, to special office, public office, you apply for it, and within 6 months or even less, you get this permission, and then you can apply for residence card, for social security card, and have the same rights as all the citizens. To break civil partnership, and to keep your residence, you have to stay with a person for more than 3 years. The same goes to marriage. If you want to get divorced or break the couple earlier than 3 years, you will have to change the card that you had for 5 years for individual card, depending on the permission, on your work permit or what other reason you would like to stay. That is why it's highly recommended to continue this civil partnership or marriage for around 3 years. Afterwards, you are allowed to keep this residence card for 5 years, and afterwards you would submit a request to get a permanent residence for 10 years, but following that you live in Spain for a long time, that you have your own money budget, or you go by work contract. So I went by work contract. I also got divorced after 3 years. I also had to notify the foreign office that I got divorced. So I sent an official letter with copy of my divorce certificate, because many cases saying on many different platforms, it's highly important to notify foreign office that you got divorced and that you consequently keep the residence card. I'm not sure how relevant, especially due to Spanish law, but it's very important to keep the copy of everything, especially of this letter and of notification to the post office, just in case, to predict bad consequences, because you can lose this right. Okay. Uh, from my personal experience again, and due to the legislation, if you decide to get married, it's longer to get divorced, and you obviously have to pay for notarius and you have to wait longer. However, if you don't have children in common, if you don't have property, etc., you can get divorced easily in one day. And whereas civil partnership can be broken just going directly to the register, so it's literally up to you. Um, if you want to get divorced, but you still want to keep your residence. So, is it better to register a marriage or a civil partnership? This question doesn't have a right or wrong answer. There is many differences and similarities between marriages and civil partnerships, as I already mentioned. But in order to find out what is best for you, you must analyze all the difference and commonalities. Um, It is then important to highlight main rights that being registered as a pareja de hecho will grant you within the Spanish territory. So it's possible to agree on the economic regime that both members choose and that will regulate their relationship in the legal level. Don't forget that this Spanish, after pareja de hecho, you will only have a residence to live and work in Spain and not in other country. Another country of the EU, you have to apply for another residence and they are not valid. Okay. Spanish civil partnership legislation in Catalonia, in Barcelona, is basically by the Catalan law, states that two people, whether men or women, who share a daily coexistence within prolonged in time, thus engaged in life analogical to marriage, can be registered as de facto couple. So literally, pareja de hecho. And yeah,